I passed on that buck a ton of times last year. That's probably my #1 target buck. Yeah.
Michigan Whitetail Pursuit is brought to you by Fourth Arrow Camera Arms, Final Rest, Wind Scent, ScentPredictor.com, Slayer Blinds, and Tree Thrasher.
Alright guys, it is November 7, which I know a lot of people consider to be the best day of the year for deer hunting. The weather this morning is pretty good. It's in kind of the upper 40s with a light west wind. There's a couple of bucks on this farm that I'm interested in shooting. The one that I'm probably most likely to encounter here is a buck that I call Bruiser. He's just a big-bodied 4-year-old. Not the biggest rack in the world, but I don't care. He's a big, mature Michigan buck, so I would absolutely shoot him. I actually saw him here a couple evenings ago over the weekend. He was cruising through here, just too far for a shot. I've got my wind scent with me this morning. I'm going to be running the P7 Seduction, which is a doe and estrus scent. I got it here in the tree with me, so I'm going to be using that as a cover scent / attractant. Got a little bit till it gets light yet, so I'm just going to kind of sit still and listen, see what I hear. So, looking forward to it. It should be a good day. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Well, hopefully I had him in frame, but that's Bruce. I just killed Bruce. That is such a cool deer. He's just a 4-year-old, just broken up, busted up buck. I don't even know what to say. I think he broke off like a G2 on one side and a G3 on the other. But I passed on that buck a ton of times last year. He was a good 3-year-old buck, just no antlers on him at all. And this year, kind of same story. He's 4 and just nothing for antlers. And then he went ahead and broke off a couple of his tines too. But November 7, that's probably my #1 target buck. He's not the biggest buck, like antler wise, but probably the #1 buck that I wanted to kill. So perfect 30-yard broadside shot. I really took my time to settle and shoot, and I mean, I heard him crash right on this other hillside. I mean, probably went 60 yards and piled up. It's my first buck in years, so yes, feels good to get it done. Yeah, buddy. That cedar tree right up there is where my stand is, and I don't know if we can really see it. Let's step up here a little bit. Back behind me down here is a swamp, and that's one of the major bedding areas on this property. And then you can kind of see this ridge line back behind me is real thick, and there's lots of doe bedding there. And that's what he was popping in and out of, was checking that thicket to see if there's any does there. That buck that I had earlier, he went right down there underneath my stand, and then he came out here and was standing on this 2-track down here a little bit. But Bruce stepped out at 30 yards, and I'm not passing on him. Alright, here he is. This is the buck that I called Bruce. As I mentioned in the tree, I saw him a whole lot last year as a 3-year-old, and he never had the biggest antlers, but he was a big-bodied deer. And this year he was back as a 4-year-old, and so I put him on my list as one that I wanted to shoot. And probably, honestly, #1, just because I did have so much experience with seeing him and so many encounters with him. So he came back this year as a nice 10-point, and he very recently broke off at G2. He broke off at G3 on the other side, but I really don't care. He's just a big-bodied Michigan 4-year-old bruiser, and the first buck I've killed in a few years, so it feels really good to get one, especially just during the rut. It was an awesome morning, awesome hunt, and it feels good to wrap my tag around a nice 4-year-old Michigan bruiser.